Okay. Oh, I don't.
Okay. Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And my guest today is just one of the great voices in rock history. You know him from his work with bands like Rainbow, Alcatrazz, MSG, and of course, the Graham Bonnet Band. He's taking some time today to talk about his upcoming projects, as well as take a look back throughout his amazing career. Please welcome the one and only Graham Bonnet. Welcome, Graham.
Thank you. Welcome it's nice to talk to you, and I can actually see you now. I couldn't before, but yeah, how you doing? You okay?
I'm doing
It's nice
great.
to be here. I must say that. I'm just going to say that today we have a cooler day, and that's why I'm outside. We had like 1 million degrees yesterday.
Yeah, I've been watching.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, that's why I moved to California from England. The warm weather. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. So let's start with the present. You have a few things going on. You recently announced the addition of former Nevermore guitarist and current Arch Enemy guitarist Jeff Loomis into your new version of Alcatrazz. Will you and Jeff be writing any new Alcatrazz music? Any hints on who else is going to be joining you in that band?
Yeah. I've got let's see, 3 songs I'm working on from Jeff. I've got 2 that are completed, I think. Yeah, and now I'm working on another one today. He's been sending me stuff all the time. He's very, very into this, I must say, and he's got a great work ethic. You know, so every day he says, "Do you need me to send you something? Do you understand what's happening in this part of the song? Blah blah blah, whatever." And we talk to him on the phone, and yeah, he's for a guitar player, it's very normal. Guitar players like, but he's a very normal person, family man, and it's kind of cool to know that a younger person than me is actually like doesn't get all carried away with who he is and what he is, which is a great guitar player, and let that be his whole life and his ego and all that. He's a good guy. It's great.
Good.
So with that, possibly. There'll be other players in Alcatrazz, the new version, that may be a surprise to some people. But so far, I just say Jeff Loomis is one.
Okay. And of course, you also resurrected the Graham Bonnet Band with your lovely wife, Bethany Havenstone on bass, Conrad Pesinato on guitar, and one of my favorite drummers, Mark Zonder, formerly of Fate's Warning. You guys previously put out 2 releases, The Book and Meanwhile Back in the Garage. What are the plans for that group, and will we be seeing new music soon? Yeah,
well, Mark Zonder is no longer with us. I don't mean he's died. He's recorded some tracks for us and then asked for his... what? Go away, Bethany. Yeah, but anyway, he's not on this album. But we'll get it. We have another drummer now on the Graham Bonnet album. We have a couple of guys that we're thinking of, and they may be doing some stuff for us right now. Now, Mark Zonder is gone, so Don Airey's on the album. Jeff Loomis has played a track on the album. Who else? I can't think. Mike. Sorry. Oh yeah, Mike and John Tempesta, they're on a track.
Nice.
Tempesta brothers. I'm sorry, I can't think of it. It's too early in the morning for this. But yeah. So it's that's all almost completed. We're recording right now, as I'm saying. We've done the 5th. I'm on the 5th song now, and it sounds real good. I think if you like the Book album, I think you're going to like this too. Has the same kind of feel to it, but we'll see. I can never tell if something's better or worse than the album before. You never know. I always think, well, that other album sounds better. No, does it? I don't know. So I never know, but I think it's right. What we have are good songs, I think.
And any idea when that will be released? I know you said you're recording now.
Yeah, it'll be a couple of months before it's finished. So somewhere along the line, it might be like September or something. I'm not sure yet, but it depends how quickly we can get it done, really.
And do you foresee the band hitting the road once the record comes out?
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to. I was going to do a Russian show in a little while, and that's been cancelled, which was like a longish tour. Well, 10 gigs anyway, 10 shows, and it's been cancelled. All the time, these things are happening, and then you find out it's cancelled for whatever reason. And so I don't know when we're going to be out on the road, but I think as soon as we got this album done, that's when we'll think about actually playing live, because that's when you get the most joy, is playing live and not really standing in a room singing in a microphone. You know, it's better getting out there and actually get some, you know, feedback from people. You know, oh, that was good. Was it? Thank you. You know.
Well, let's take a look back through your history a bit. In your very early career with the Marbles and even your early solo work, you had a lot of success in Australia, and you've even recorded a few Bee Gees pen tracks. How did that come about? Did you ever have a relationship with those guys? Did you know the Bee Gees and work with them?
Yeah, well, my cousin used to live in Australia, and he did some records with the Bee Gees. His name is Trevor Gordon, and he actually joined the band when we moved to London later. Anyway, that's another story. Before we became the anyway, so one day we were playing in a club in London called the Revolution Club. I think it's still there, I'm not sure. But we're playing away, you know, we entered, and this guy comes up to my cousin Trevor and said, hey, Trevor, do you know that Barry and Robin and Morris would love to talk to you? You know, because they hadn't seen each other for God years, you know. And Trevor just moved from Australia to England, whereas the Bee Gees had moved over a few months before, or a couple of years before. And so Trevor got the number from this guy who used to manage the Bee Gees, I think, and got in touch with Barry and went over to Robert Stigwood's house, where they talked about Trevor recording with the Bee Gees again. And my cousin Trevor said, well, my cousin Graham sings a bit too, you know. So they invited me over to Stigwood's house in London, and all the guys, the family were there, the Gibb brothers. And we sat around playing guitars and singing whatever, Stevie Wonder songs and, you know, Beach Boys and Beatles, you know, the obvious thing. And it was great, you know. So we stopped playing, and Stigwood comes into the room, Robert Stigwood, and said to Barry Gibb, Barry, did you have a song for these boys? I'd like to get them in the studio as soon as possible. It was like, what? You know, it was like out of the blue. It was like a stupid, you know, B movie about overnight success. You know what I mean? Really silly. And Barry said, absolutely. So a few days later, Barry came along with this song with no words. And I went in and did a demo, you know, da 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 da, you know, la la la-ing it. And it became a song called Only One Woman, which is our first hit record. And if it wasn't for the Bee Gees, I wouldn't be here now, because they started my recording career and the rest of it, really. You know, so I'm always grateful to Barry, Robin and Morris. Morris and I lived very close together when we lived in London. So I see Morris all the time. When he's married to Lulu. And, you know, I can't believe the guys have all gone. There's just Barry now.
Yeah.
Barry and Leslie, sister. And, as I said, if it wasn't for Barry and the rest of the guys, I won't be sitting here talking to you, because they really did start my career. The Bee Gees, who'd have thunk it?
And Barry just put out an amazing record earlier this year where he re-recorded some of the band's hits. And it still sounds amazing. Yeah. And,
yeah, I mean, Barry's a great writer. I mean, he's one of those guys that can adapt to any kind of style. You know, okay, you want a country song? I've got one. You know, he's a prolific writer, and always has been. You know, I mean, God, I tried to get a song from him recently, but that's not happening. Because I thought, well, you know, it'd be kind of nice to get back together and, you know, old boys, you know, sort of old friends. And I haven't seen him for years. But me and Bethany went to see him at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was going to go backstage to see him, but there were so many people linking around that were just, you know, it was stupid. I couldn't get into the bloody place, into the dressing room. And it was like every person, there were Olivia Newton-John was there, and oh God, a lot of people you would know. And so me and her were waiting, and I said to her, we're not going to get in there. Got to have all the, you know, the hierarchy of the pop business going to go in first. And that was Olivia Newton-John, etc. But Barry and I have been friends since I was 19, well, since the Marbles days. But I haven't seen him, you know, physically and said, "Hey, how are you?" For God, 40 years, something like that, a long time. But I always keep in touch with. I keep in touch with him through his manager, well, personal assistant, so to speak, Dick Ashby. And I write to him and say, "How's Barry doing?" Blah 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 blah. So thanks, Barry.
And like I said, those early records, I mean, they weren't really rock records in the sense of what your career later became. So based off of those, how did you end up replacing Ronnie James Dio and Rainbow? It was a completely different type of music than what you were doing at the time.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what happened. The guys were they're in Switzerland, you know, recording Rainbow without a singer. And they were auditioning singers, and they had 80 people apparently apply for the job. And one night, Cozy brought out his tape machine and said, "Let's have a game of Spot the Tune." You know, so he put on an old song. This guy now, you know, and Roger Glover happened to be working with one of my friends in England, Mickey Moody, guitar player, and our internet connections is unstable. Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
So he was working
lost you
with
for
him.
a quick second, but you're back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he said he asked Mickey Moody for my number, and I got a call from Roger Glover, and he said, "Would you come over and audition for Rainbow?" I didn't know what Rainbow was. I had no idea. So I had to go out and buy some albums and listen to the music, you know, with Ronnie singing. And they got in touch with me to say, "You learn one song and do that as an audition piece." And that was a song called Mistreated. And that was my audition. So I went over there, sang this song. I didn't know if it was really my kind of deal or what. It's kind of like a bluesy song, Mistreated. And I got the job. I sang the song 4 times, I guess. Sing it again, sing it again. And it was kind of, well, okay, thank you. Well, I went back to England saying, and I said to our manager, "I don't think I'm right for this band, really. I mean, the music is, it's not the music I do. I play, you know, I like, you know, because I'd never done anything so-called heavy. And this was sort of heavy-ish, I suppose, because I was more used to R&B and pop. But anyway, he said, "No, you got to do it, Graham. It's a good career move." I thought, yeah, manager person. Yeah. You know, I saw no bloody money from Rainbow, but you know, it was a good move, and it introduced me to a new kind of music that I'd never thought I'd be involved in, because it's, you know, this sort of semi-classical thing going on. And man, I'm so glad I did, because thanks to Richie and Roger Glover and Don and Cozy, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better band. I mean, that was what a lineup! Holy crap, what a lineup! You know. And I was lucky enough to be there when Cozy was still around and Don was still in the band. You know?
And you know, after that, you spent some time with Michael Schenker in MSG. And it's funny, I recently spoke with Robin McCauley, and he went on and on about the sense of melody in Michael's playing that a singer could really attach on to. And he said that's what draws him into it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on playing with Michael and getting back with him for Schenkerfest with Robin and a bunch of other people recently?
Yeah. Well, I agree with him. It's absolutely, you know, you can tell Michael's playing. He doesn't play like all the other, you know, where you go, "Well, can you shut up now? Can you play something else?" Michael always has great sections to his song. You know, there's a nice verse or whatever, then a nice middle part, then an instrumental part, then something else will happen. It's kind of surprising, but sometimes, well, what it is with him, when he records a demo, so to speak, it's very long recording, like 10 minutes a song, you know, and then you kind of pick out the best bits, you know, for a vocal line, you know. And I remember getting a tape from him. He sent me it after Gary Barden was gone, and it sent me a tape when I lived in Calabasas in California, and it said on it, "Urgent," you know. So, and there's 3 songs, and I had to write these 3 songs to get ready to actually join the band. And so I got these songs together and went over there to London, and we rehearsed for a little while when Cozy was playing drums at that point. And you know, I stayed with Cozy for a while, and so we got it together. It was a hell of an experience, you know, because as I said, Michael is such a great player. I love what he does now. You know, he's fantastic. And after all these years of not playing together, with my bad experience on stage one night with him, probably everybody knows about, but you know, I actually got through a whole set when we played together with the Michael Schenker Fest, and I remember smiling across the stage. I'm going, I managed to do all the songs without fucking off, you know. Yeah, so it was nice to see him smiling again, and you know, it's all you know, water under the bridge from that horrible time back in Sheffield, which I think everybody knows about, and I don't really have to repeat it.
Right.
It involved body parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's Michael is just such a great player and so unusual in his playing. It's just fantastic to watch, and he's, you know, perfect. Every freaking note he plays is perfect. He's the best.
After MSG, you started your own band. So after replacing singers in a couple of bands, you formed Alcatrazz from scratch. And it's funny, as a kid that was growing up in the 80s, I always saw Alcatrazz as sort of the hard rock version of the Yardbirds, in that, you know, Yngwie Malmsteen into Steve Vai, and even in later incarnations with Howie Simon, who's done some great work with Jeff Scott Soto and now Jeff Loomis. But in the early days, was it frustrating to change guitar players every record, or did you feel it refreshed the band each time?
Well, it did, but no, I mean, I really hated it when, well, Yngwie had to go. I mean, we just had a battle. We had a battle, which was not very good. I mean, I remember one night, what happened with Yngwie. I mean, I wish he'd just stay, but this kid, he grew into a monster, but a great guitar player, no doubt. Yeah. But one night, I walked off stage when it was time for his guitar solo, and I walked off stage and I tripped over his guitar, and I pulled it out of the freaking amplifier, and he thought I did it on purpose. I went to the bus. And I was sitting there, you know, talking to the bus driver, and Yngwie runs in, gets me by the neck, does this, pushes his thumbs right into my throat. I said, "You fucking asshole. In the middle of my solo, you unplugged me." That's what you're talking about. I didn't know. I really didn't know what I'd done. And anyway, what happened was, one of our crew saw this happening, saw Yngwie. He was trying to kill my voice, basically. He dug his thumbs right in here. So I was like, I was choking. And this Hungarian guy who was big, and one of my a close friend back then, came up to him and said, "Yngwie," and he got Yngwie under his arm like this. And he said, "You fucking touch Graham again, I'm going to break your fucking neck." And that night, we didn't break his neck. I remember we were driving home in the bus back to LA, and well, after we'd flown, obviously. But we were driving back, and we fired Yngwie on the tour bus because you can't do that. You can't strangle the singer.
It's usually bad.
Very good. I can't do that. So, so that was the end of Yngwie, and of course Steve Vai came along, you know, which was even, well, for me it was better. I loved the way Steve played, and he was so unusual, like Michael Schenker. There's something about those two guys that aren't like anybody else. You know, they do all the widdly, they do all that stuff, but they have a certain style that's incomparable. You know, it's I don't know. It's like Gary Moore and you know, Jeff Beck. You can tell it's them. You know, but a lot of guitar players, it's just widdly for the sake of widdly. You know, little Lily, and playing scales, which is, it's great. You know, it's fantastic, but it's not a song.
Right.
You know, Ray was great because he would play the song, not just say, "Oh, here comes my guitar solo." And Steve was the same. I got on with him very, very well because he'd just come out of Frank Zappa's band, and we had different ideas. And that's the chicken. He had different ideas, and it was just very, very unusual, very sort of offbeat and sort of avant-garde about a lot of things. And the band, we had to kind of refine the avant-garde stuff to a little bit more, you know, radio-friendly stuff. Yeah. But I love what he did, and we made up some songs that we had to sort of pop up, if you will, make it a bit more popular, commercial sounding, because he was on the same kind of trail as I was. I like things when it's unexpected, and that's what he was like. But I think that second album for me of Alcatrazz is my favorite. Yeah. It really is, because of his playing. The songs we made up, I think, were great. You know, they still sound good.
Yep. Yeah, he's an amazing guitar player.
Oh, here comes the guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, totally. And you know, after that initial Alcatrazz run, you did a lot of projects, a lot of one-off kind of things. But one of my favorite records ever is the first record you did with Impellitteri, Stand in Line. And that was really an all-star lineup. I mean, what do you remember about how that lineup came together? Because there's a lot of diverse people coming in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chris got all that together himself. I don't know how he found everybody. It was Chuck Wright and God, who else was in the damn band? Dave Spitz. Mark Spitz's cousin. And then Pat Torpey. Yeah. I mean, at the end, did we use Mark? I can't remember if we actually used Mark Spitz on tour. I don't think we did. No, I think Chuck Wright was playing.
Yeah, Chuck Wright was in.
Yeah, on the tour. Yeah, but on the record, I was Chuck Wright on the record. I didn't get the band together. Chris did. And I had a call from him one day, and he said, "Hi." He knew that Alcatrazz was gone, and he called me up one day. He said, "Hi, this is Chris Impellitteri." I said, "Pardon?" What? You know, Impellitteri, is that a real name? And anyway, he called me up and he said, "Would you mind if I come to see you?" Blah blah blah. And he has some things to play me, and I said, "Bloody hell, you play like a demon. You play very fast, you know." And so that's how it kind of started. It was a phone call, and we started making up tunes together, and that was it. And we made the album, which I think is pretty good too. You know, it's a little heavier probably than Rainbow or whatever, but it again, it's a great experience to play with somebody who was like such a fast freaking player and was really into making songs heavy, so to speak, whatever the hell that is. And you know, he wanted to show off how freaking good he was at playing fast, you know, and he plays even faster now, I believe. But it was a great band. I mean, Chris is still, well, I saw him, let's see, about 2 years ago. We're in Japan, we're playing in Japan. And I went on a guest spot. We did a song called Stand in Line. And I went on stage with him, with his band. It was a theater where Chris was playing in Japan, in Tokyo, and going, "Oh, shit, I'm not ready for this." I was like tired and, you know, had enough. And but anyway, I got up on stage and we did this song, and I sort of like, stand in line, and I gave a lot of it to the audience. I thought, I can't do this. I'm worn out, you know. But the audience went berserk. You know, it was incredible. They love Chris in Japan. They really do. And to see the two of us back together again was a treat for me. It really was.
And you know, after all the different projects you did through the 90s and the early 2000s, you finally put together the Graham Bonnet Band. You know, after, you know, different types of projects, what led you to decide, okay, now it's time to put my own band together and go forward?
Yeah. Well, you know, I was kind of sitting around not doing very much, and I thought, well, what the hell am I going to do here? I'm in limbo. And I started talking to Bethany on the phone. I remember, oh God, 9 years ago, something like that. We were talking about our kids. She has an autistic boy, and so do I. My son is autistic also. And we started talking, blah, 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 blah. And then she told me she was playing in the band in LA, and would I like to come along and just do a guest spot? Tommy, yeah, was Tommy Brown, James Brown's wife. James Brown's wife. Of course, he died. I know that. But so I went and did a couple of songs with them live. And after we finished, I thought, well, this is fun. I said to Bethany, have you ever thought about playing different kind of music? And she said, well, yeah, it'd be nice. And so me and Bethany got together in the house here and started playing, just me and her, the bass and the guitar. Yeah. And I said, well, what should we do? Should we do some like pop music, cover versions of something? And she said, well, I don't know if that's the right idea for you. I think you should go back to where you kind of started with Alcatrazz. So we started to, Conrad Pessanado came along, who was her friend who played in Tommy's band. And we got together, the three of us, and we sort of took it from there, started writing, more kind of rock songs. And it became what it became, the GB band. And that's what we're doing now. It's GB with different players, I've said. That Conrad's playing, obviously, and Bethany and me. I had to be there. I don't want to do this. Yeah, but I had to be there because my name was on the album. So, it sounds great. I mean, what we got so far sounds fantastic. It really does. Conrad's a great musician, along with Bethany. And there's all these other guys that are going to be playing with us, as I said, including Don Airy. Yeah. Thank you for the nuts. I've got some nuts to give to the squirrels. Nuts, everybody. The squirrels are all running around. So, it's great because to me, it's like having the family back together, like where we started a few years ago. It's nice to have that that tension gone. I've just left because it was dreadful. The hate within that band was enormous. And nobody wants to do what I want to do. It was just a mess. So to get back together with Conrad and Bethany was fantastic. And we have a few other players that I can't really. We've got another 2 drummers we're thinking about to replace some tracks that Mark did because he pulled out. And there's a couple of guys that we're thinking about right now. It's going to be great. It's going to be. I've got John Tempesta on 1 playing drums. So there's 2 other guys. Yeah, I won't. Yeah, I can't really say who's going to be doing it. But so far, I'm still recording. Without some of the tracks don't have drums on them, but you don't really need them to sing.
Right.
Do it with a fake drum thing or whatever, or a click track. So I've recorded a lot of things without drums and bass or whatever sometimes. As long as I'm okay. So, but this is tracks. But it's going to be like 2 bands. It's going to be Alcatrazz and GB band, But
go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned that it's going to be 2 bands.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
I can. We're back.
Yeah, right. Technology is not my thing. With me, it's a funny thing. I get in an elevator. Bethany's been with me when this happens. I press, whatever floor I'm going to. Let's say it's floor 3. I press the 3, nothing happens. Press it again, nothing happens. She says, Graham, what are you doing? She said, look, we're going to floor 3. I said, I know. And she'll go, bump, and we go. I don't know what it is. With electric stuff, there's something weird about me. I don't know what it is, but nothing works. Elevators, telephones, this. I can't find it. It's weird. But anyway, yes, 2 bands. Well, right now we're doing the Graham Bonnet Band.
Yes.
But straight after this, I'm going to start recording again with Jeff, Jeff Loomis, who's sending me tracks every other day.
Mhm.
So we've got another, let's see, another 5 or 6 songs to do on our album, the Graham Bonnet album. And then Jeff and I will be doing the next album like immediately. So I've got a lot to do, really. You know, sometimes it's hard work, you know, trying to find out a subject to write about, because I've written everything, I think, just about. And it's about real, you know, real things, not Dungeons and Dragons and, you know, swords and all that kind of thing. I like to write about real life.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that a lot of people have commended me by. They've just written to me saying, I love your words. I love the stories you tell. And I said, well, I'm like a country writer, you know, that's how they write their songs, you know. Your red scarf matches your eyes or whatever. But you know what I mean? They write about real stuff. And that's what I try to do most of the time, unless I'm really stuck. Then I'll write about a monster or something, you know, but I have Bigfoot once in a while. But it's so everybody does that. Everybody writes about, you know, mythical beings. And I think real life is much more scary than monsters.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I wrote a song on Michael's album. It's called The Beast That Hides in the Shadows. And it's not what you think it is. It's about Alzheimer's. And because I lost my dad and my brother to Alzheimer's. And I wrote this song, The Beast That Hides in the Shadows. You never know it's there, and it creeps up on you very, very gradually. And I saw my dad go into another world, and my brother also, not so long ago. And it's an evil thing, and it's a beast, and you never know it's there. And at the end of the song, I say, am I the next victim? You know, is it going to be me next? You know, I don't know. I hope not. I don't think so. But yeah, as I said, real life's much more scary.
Yes. Well, we've been spending some time here with the great Graham Bonnet, as well as his chickens.
Yes, indeed. And we don't eat them. I've been a vegetarian now for, 50 years or more, something like that. Yeah. I don't eat chicken, I don't eat meat, yeah.
And so Graham, just thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Really looking forward to the new Graham Bonnet Band material, as well as the new version of Alcatrazz with Jeff Loomis. And again, thanks so much. And hopefully we can catch you on the road at some point soon. Yeah, well, I hope so. This has been fun. And I hope I didn't sort of wander off into another world. I tend to gabble on a bit sometimes. Perfect.
I wonder if sometimes people, if they understand what I'm saying, you know, because I'm thinking, I think aloud sometimes, and I don't want to say things sometimes. I don't know what it is. I'm unfiltered or something. Just blurt out whatever comes into my mind at that instant. But yeah, it's been fun, and I hope that it makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Graham. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too, man.
Thanks.